podcast power. Y'all make sure to go over there and check out Real Talk on musicloveawards.com and vote for their podcast to be #1 podcast. Make sure y'all go help them win that award. Let's go! musicloveawards.com. Make sure you vote for Real Talk Podcast. Okay? Y'all heard me. All right, let's get it.
Hello, I'm Author Nikki Nicole from the Breaking the Silence podcast, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite podcasts out there, Real Talk Monday. It airs at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and so many more platforms. If you're looking for a real conversation from a godly perspective, with a little twist to it to get you to thinking, tune in on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
What is up, everyone? I am here. We are here. I got my girl, Miss Tevis, up in the building with me. How you doing, sis?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am well. Y'all, we have a great discussion plan for y'all tonight. I see we got some people up in here. We got our girl, Sarah. What up, sis? What up, sis? How you doing? Then we got Miss Arthur Nikki Nicole up in the building. What is up? We got Crystal up in the building. How you doing? Y'all. We are here and we are ready to have a great discussion. We are here for it. Let's get it. We're going to start it off with prayer. Then we are going to hit it off with these questions. Hey, Ashley. Hey. We're going to start y'all off with prayer, then we're going to get into this discussion. We're going to have a quick interlude after we tell y'all what our topic is, and then we'll get into this discussion tonight, y'all. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that you have done and all that you are continuing to do. We'd ask as you bless this show on tonight, Lord. Get myself and Tevis out of the way. Not only let us be godly, but let us be real as well. Let your light shine in us so that men see all of you and none of us. These are many blessings in your son, Christ Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Tevis, you want to tell them what our topic is on tonight?
Yes. We will be so our theme for the quarter is healing before the next level. And on today, we're going to be talking about just that, what that looks like for us. So for, when you think about healing, you think about, some people can think about a wound, like a flesh wound that has to heal, right? But when you think of it in terms of your mental and your spiritual, you think, and your emotional, you think about how you want to be well, right? How you want to bring life and good news to other people. What does that look like? Because that's important, but you have to be whole first, right? I have learned that no matter the good, the great, your life is, how good or great your life is, there are wounds, some bigger than others, but who are we to judge the size of somebody's wound, right? Mm-hmm. The point is, there is stuff that must be dealt with. And everyone deals with things differently, but dealing with it is important because we don't want to ignore it. And that happens so often, and especially in the Black and brown community, right? Sweeping things under the rug, never facing or acknowledging it. I have also learned that there are three things that are extremely hard to heal. It's hard to heal from attachments, trust, and being specialness, right? So when I think about special, I think about grace. Um, God, how can I say this? God gives us grace. We will not be seen like according to our sins, but it's even better than that because he's incredible and we want to be special to God, right? We want to be special to God. And to me, in order to be special to God, we have to be whole. We don't have to be whole, right? We can come to him broken. We can come to him torn, but we have to trust that trust him and what he can do. He wants that closeness with us. Um, Being the source of something good, life giving makes grace flow through us all. So, in this conversation about healing, I want us to think about our closeness with whoever our spiritual person is, our spiritual belief, whatever our spiritual beliefs are, but also giving grace. And typically, when we talk about healing, we're healing from trust issues, from attachments, and from specialness. So, that's just kind of my brief on healing. Sorry, I know that was a whole spiel. You probably
No,
would.
no, no. You are good. You are good. You are good. So before we jump too far into this conversation, we're gonna give people a chance to jump in here because we don't want y'all to miss none of this. Because as y'all can already hear, Tevis is already dropping them gems already. So we're gonna give y'all a quick interlude, and then we're gonna be ready for y'all. Let's hit it. All right, all right, all right. So, man, let's just jump into these questions, Tevis. You want to kick it off first, or do you want me to?
Oh, I can, no problem.
All right.
So, the first question: have you prepared yourself for your next chapter? And if so, what does that look like? How did you do that?
Have I prepared myself for my next chapter? Most definitely, I have. And to be honest, if I'm honest with myself, I am constantly preparing myself for that next chapter, because at the end of the day, that we are always all work in progresses.
Mm-hmm.
We always have room for improvement. And I'll be honest with everybody, I am one of the hardest people on myself, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm really honest with it. Like when it comes down to myself, man, I stay on myself
Mm-hmm.
about making sure that I'm constantly doing the things that I need to do. Like even today, for instance, let me give y'all this. If you all listen to the words Motivation Monday on this morning, I do apologize. That was not one of the best. I promise you all will get better, and you all deserve better. So I promise you all, it will get better from here. This week was just a crazy week, so I threw something up there that was an old episode, and you can clearly tell that it was an old one. So it will get better. But like I said, I'm one of my hardest critics on myself. So it's like, I, for me, it's like I always see where there's room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God that I have people around me that are not yes people. They are
Mm-hmm.
not just going to say, yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, you're doing awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything you're doing is great. You need people around you that's going to tell you that, yo, let's be honest. Your sugar honey ain't stinks right now.
Right.
You ain't on your game.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about you leveling up, but that you just put out is not your best quality.
Mm-hmm.
All this great stuff going on around you, but what is that over
Mm-hmm.
here? So you need people around you that are gonna push you and help you to get to your next level, that are gonna help you like not settle. And Yes, as Sarah said, accountability partners. Exactly. 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 And I thank God for mine because God knows if it wasn't for my accountability partners, man, I would be lost. Because number one, I thank God for God, but I also thank God that He put people around me that are on that same hunger that I am on, that are gonna bring out the best in me. And what I love about it is we not selfish with it. If we see something that we are good at that could help somebody else, yo, let's pass the wealth of knowledge along. So most definitely, I have taken the steps, and I'm still taking the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the relationship wise goes, still, yeah, I've taken the steps, and I'm still doing it. Like, and the way that I'm doing it now is I have surrounded myself with people that are on the same path that I'm trying to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be honest. Let me tell y'all what I mean by that. If you are trying to be a millionaire, right? Are you going to surround yourself with broke people? Or are you
Mm-hmm.
going to surround yourself with other people that are millionaires already, or that are striving to be millionaires as well?
Mm-hmm. Now surround yourself around what you want, right?
Exactly. So it's like for me, what I have done is I'm wanting marriage. So what I have surrounded myself is around is successful relationships. I've surrounded myself with people that are in successful relationship. I have surrounded myself with people that have been married for many, 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 many years. If I want to be really real with it, shameless plug, shout out to the gospel messages out of Glasgow, Kentucky. From the age of 5 years old, I was being prepared for marriage
Mm-hmm.
because of the simple fact of is because of the simple fact of all I was around at that time was guys that was married. I was around guys that have been married like 30, 40, 45, 50 years. In that group, I'm looking at over within that group, I'm looking at over 100 years of marriage, probably
Yep.
between all of them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I see what a successful marriage looks like. I see
Mm-hmm.
how a man is supposed to treat his queen.
Right.
So now that I see it, now I know what I have to do for the queen that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can't treat her like a peasant. I have to treat her like the queen that she
That's
is.
right. That's right.
So yeah, you got to surround yourself with what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage-minded people.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So what about you, Tevis? Have you?
So so I'm sorry. Yes, preparation is nonstop. As long as I have breath in my body, a sound mind, I think every day I will be preparing myself. My preparation, I grew up in church, I always knew the Lord, always known him, strive to continue to get to know him better. And of course, as I've gotten older, I have created my own relationship and my own path with the Lord, right? And I want to continue to nurture that. And me nurturing that is me reading daily or listening to the Bible app daily, devotionals daily, praying constantly without ceasing, even if I have to stop in the middle of whatever and just say something to myself. So just building and creating knowledge. And when I'm facing things in life, it's not just about me searching the internet, right? It's me searching the internet for things that places that it may be in the Bible, right? Seeking that word, seeking that understanding from God, because it's there, right? It's there, and bringing my daughter up in that. So not only am I building that relationship with God, but also I have been to therapy. I went to therapy for a year and a half before I lost my job, and I have always been intentional about building and keeping um, myself, holding myself accountable for my flaws. I believe when we know better, we do better. Um, Although I have questions and have been disappointed and doubted God at different times, He has never left my side. I have proof of that daily, that He has walked with me. And me participating in therapy, because you can hear, older generations is like, if God can't fix it, nobody can. But I believe God puts people in spaces and places to help us to grow. That's why there are doctors and lawyers and teachers and preachers and all of these other people that are in place to be able to support our learning and our growth. So for me, my preparation has been with God. My preparation has been therapy. And when you spoke on, you know, putting yourself in places and spaces with where you want to go and how you want to live your life moving forward, for a very long time, I would have parties or events, small stuff, but I would only invite my girlfriends and not their boyfriends or their husbands. Cause why? Cause I don't have one.
Exactly. It's like I ain't trying to be no third wheel.
Yeah,
No.
and then I don't want people's partners to feel weird or awkward, but I told myself going into this year that I'm not going to do that. So when I go places or do stuff, I've been saying, hey, do you and such want to go? You want to bring your bow? Because if I want that, I need to see that. I need to be surrounded by that more. You know what I'm saying? And stepping out, in different areas and ways of my life. So I definitely believe that. I definitely agree with you on that for sure. For sure.
So okay, let me give you a little. I'm always one to throw a curveball. Sarah and
Mhm.
Travis will both tell you I'm quick to throw the curveballs. So all right, here we go. What? Why do you think that in the black community, the word therapy is such a bad word?
Mhm.
Because let's be honest, when we say the word therapy, a lot
Mhm.
of the older black
Mhm.
folks look at us like, oh, you just need to pray more. You just need to
Mhm.
pray more. That's all that's wrong with it. You ain't praying hard enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, yes. Yes, I agree. You need prayer. But I'm a firm believer that you need Jesus and coffee.
Mhm.
You need Jesus and therapy.
Right. 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 So my thought on and my belief on that, at my last job, that was definitely a thing. Dismantling the negative beliefs or stereotype around mental health, right? Which therapy, counseling, coaching, or what have you. I think because we have been taught that if you do have any type of mental health issues, you're crazy.
Mm,
And who wants to have that title or that tag, right? But that's untrue. We have imbalances in our life. We have things in our life that may be triggered at some point for one reason or the other. But why not seek support and seek help in getting better and feeling better, whatever that looks like for you, right? So especially for our black men, like, oh, I don't want to be known that I've went to therapy. I'm strong. Weak men go to therapy. Weak men don't cry. All that is balagna, right? So I think it's just that stereotype that has trickled down from decades and years and centuries that if you seek therapy, you're considered crazy or you're considered weak. Let's dismantle that. I need you to be well. I want you to be whole. If I'm coming to you whole, if I'm coming to you well, I need the same from you, right?
facts.
So be
Facts.
okay expressing and communicating and sharing your thoughts and feelings. Be okay seeking therapy or counseling or coaching or whatever it is that you need. So that dismantling that stigma is just so important, and I'm definitely going to always be an advocate for that forever,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
like this comment right here that was said where it says a lot of them couldn't afford it. And then the older generation was taught just get over things and not given the opportunity to speak their mind.
Yeah. And you can say afford. I mean, yeah, but I don't think I personally don't believe that's the big thing. The big thing is the stigma behind it. You're weak, God can fix it. Period. That's what has lingered on for centuries, for years, decades. Men don't seek therapy, men don't need therapy, to go to therapy as a man, you're considered weak. And yeah, for some it could be a financial thing, but I think the stigma again behind it is what that looks like if I'm going to therapy. I'm weak, right? Or I'm not strong or all of that. So yes, money could definitely been a thing, and we've always been taught to just get over it,
True,
push through it. You can do it for sure.
true. And then I like this comment too. In order to prepare right, we have to see God first. He will put the right people, situations, places, and resources
That's
in your
right,
path.
and he will for sure,
Yeah, very
for
true.
sure.
Very true. You know, I say all the time, don't ask God to order your steps if he ain't ready to follow
If
his
you ain't
path.
ready, that's right. That's right. Exactly right.
All
Uh,
right.
go
So
ahead with number
don't,
two.
yeah, let's go with it. Number two, how did you know you needed what you needed and when it was time? How did you know what you needed and when it was time?
Um, I was tired of not understanding why. Why was I considered so strong, or why I have had failed relationships with males and female friends. I was tired of wondering what to do as a friend who pushes people away, or as a leader. Some folks were not sure how to receive me. Friends, I have opened my door to two of my friends, living with me. And both of the, and neither one of the two people were like argumentative or combative people, but the way that they removed themselves from my home was very inconsiderate and disrespectful. And, that stuff was hurtful. And, in communicating with my therapist, I was like, I never argued or fussed, or please be very careful. Argue or fuss, good job. Argue or fuss or, had any type of negative, you know, conversations with these people. My goal was to always encourage them, empower them, give them the tools that would help them be successful so they wouldn't be here forever, right? Let's budget, let's plan. And what my therapist helped me believe, it was not necessarily anything that I said or done, but that they weren't in a position to receive my support and my help, right? And because of that, they took offense to it. And so one of them has circled back and has apologized and has acknowledged that it was a lack of maturity, a lack of readiness, all of the above, which was great. And then the funny thing with my relationships with guys, like with dating, and when I say dating, I mean um, meeting people, getting to know people, not committed. After 3 months, it was like they would last 3 months and then it was done. But what that was, I was like, dang, that's a thing. Like, what is this 3 month thing? And she was like, because that's when you realize that they not for you, and that's
Right,
okay. That's not necessarily this, you know, 3 months like. Uh, you can't make it past 3 months. It doesn't have to be looked at as a bad thing, but these things was like so forceful in my brain. Like I needed to figure this out, right? So, I needed to know the why behind things. I needed to understand the why. I needed to learn how to balance internally, but also like when interacting with others, I had to understand and be okay with I'm not going to be for everyone, and that I have to be intentional in learning others, right? And know that everything isn't always about me. And when I say that, I say that meaning that I may say something in the most pleasant way, and still someone may take offense to it. And in that case, it's not about me. It's about them, how they're receiving things from me, right? I could be the nicest. I could say it in the most spiritual, kindest, sweetest way. But if they have some type of within themselves that needs healing, then really it's about them. Now, don't get me wrong. I know I can be spicy sometimes, but I can admit that and acknowledge that. So for me, I needed to understand like some of the ways that I needed to grow, and some of the whys behind hurtful things that I have experienced with other people. Like because I wanted to be better. my goal is never to hurt people, but always to push people forward. That's just who I am, and how I want to be in this lifetime. So that is when I realized it was just too much. I needed help figuring that out. What
I
about you?
agree. I agree. I think for me it was when I just got tired of being sick and tired of
Mhm.
going in that same circle. And I think for me also it was when I got tired of dating the same woman over and over and over again. And
Mhm.
I'm not talking about literally the same woman,
Mhm.
but
The
what I'm
same
talking
type.
about was like mentally the same woman,
Mhm.
emotionally the same
Mhm.
woman,
Mhm.
and I was picking. It was
Mhm.
like my picker was off
Mhm.
because I was picking what I wanted.
Right. Right.
I was picking from what I liked.
Mhm.
Like, yo, she got a beautiful smile. Yeah, I want her. Yo,
Mhm.
we gonna turn heads the minute we walk in the room. Yeah, I
Mhm.
gotta have her. Yeah, she gonna look real good on my arm. She beautiful arm candy. Gotta have her. But then it was like God was looking at me and he's like, "But what's your heart like?
Mhm. Mhm.
What's your heart posture like?
Mhm. Mhm.
What's her prayer life like?"
Mhm.
And that's when I came to the final conclusion of Bay ain't Bay if Bay don't play.
That's
Because
right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I need to know when I'm at my weakest moment
Mhm.
that you down on your knees and you playing.
Right. 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 Yeah, I get it. I get it. How or have you ever felt that your inner child needed to be healed? And do you know what I mean by that?
Most definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And most definitely, I felt like that from time to time because of the simple fact of things that I dealt with in my
Mhm.
past that I didn't heal myself, that I didn't
Mhm.
get the proper time to heal myself from
Mhm. Mhm.
because of the fact that the motto was just get over it.
Mhm.
Keep
Mhm.
moving, keep it moving, keep it pushing. You on the schedule. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's
Mhm.
go, let's go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Time don't stop for nobody.
Right.
And I can honestly say these, I'm 34 years old now, and these last 3 to 4 months have been some of the hardest 3 to 4 months of my
Mhm.
life because it's like I've been on go mode
Mhm.
nonstop. There is no stopping when there was no stopping in between. And
Mhm.
then finally Sunday, I was able to just go back to my home church and
Mhm.
get poured back into by my pastor,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
listening to the word of God being preached instead of having to deliver it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I for, I hadn't forgotten how good that felt, but
Mhm.
I had almost forgot that like, man, even a preacher needs refilling
Yeah, for
sometimes
sure. For sure. For sure.
because I wasn't on E, but my check engine light was coming on. Like,
Mhm.
yo, we about to run down.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah. I've been in situations like that where my inner child needed to be healed, and it's because of the simple fact that I was going off of what I know. When
Mhm.
you're going
Mhm.
through tough times, you just keep it pushing.
Right. Right. Um so for me that's an absolutely trusting others. You know, at different points in my life I didn't feel protected. And this is like no knock on my parents because when they knew, they protected, right? But sometimes as kids we keep things to ourselves because we don't want to disrupt the discourse of our family or the functions that are going on in our life. um, with family or friends. I was always the one, I feel like, that I take up for other people. I help other people. I support. But who has really just stood in the forefront and done that for me, right? Now, again, this is when it wasn't known. Um, but I also wondered if I had expectations from others that they did not know about. And I would put that on them and they wouldn't know, which is unfair, right? So when I think about healing the inner child, you could be in a relationship, we could be in a relationship together, and you may say something or do something or touch me, or there may be a scent that triggers me to an event that happened when I was a child. And I may respond like a child instead of the mature 46-year-old woman that I am. Well, that's because that part of you, that inner child, hasn't been healed, right? So you have to be intentional. So in therapy, any therapist that just starts with the now, especially if you have wounds that started from back then, as far as let's talk about your family dynamic, let's talk about your parents, like these things have to be discussed, right? Because there are things sometimes that your parents don't even realize that they said or done that may have stuck with you or stung because it's just you and that's your personality, and maybe that's something that you can't handle. I had to apologize to my mom and my daughter at one point because I held an expectation for them that they didn't know about, and I had to, like, I found myself getting upset and angry with them, and they didn't even realize that these were things that I needed from them, right? So I had to, like, apologize, admit, and acknowledge that. I also had to understand that everyone is not going to be me. I love like this. I nurture like this. I protect like this. I'm a friend in these ways. This is how I show up for people. But people may not show up for me in that same way, but they have their way of showing up, and I need to be able to see that and acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Facts.
everybody loves and shows friendship differently. As long as no one is being hurtful, mean, or disrespectful, then you know learn to receive that. Certain things happen as we grow up, that play a part in the woman and the man that we are now, whether it is abuse physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whether it's illnesses, whether it's mental health, whether it's spiritual things. Things have happened, and it plays a part in how we adult and we don't heal that inner child. Being a middle child and not feeling seen sometimes or heard at times, um, was a thing for me. I am the only girl between two boys, and I've said on here before, like the big brother is spoiled because he's the oldest. The little brother is spoiled because he's the youngest. But then my
Niggas.
daddy will say, "And you're spoiled because you're the only girl." But yeah, when they wanted or when they needed, Tevis was in the background. They got first, right? And I'll get it. You can get it to me when you can. But to me, that's always made me feel like I didn't have a voice in a way. Big brother had a curfew. I mean, didn't have a curfew. I did. So these
Cause
was
she the
arguments.
only girl. You the
Yeah,
baby girl.
there's are those are like debates that, like, and I'm thinking like you're not hearing me. So that was a thing for me. Being bullied growing up, seventh grade and ninth grade, and not feeling like um no one had my back. My brother or his friends didn't have my back, or, whatever. That was a thing for me. And maybe they did. I don't really know, but I didn't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So just different times in my life that I didn't feel protected or felt like I was doing it by myself, right? So those are things that I had to heal. I've had to grow through now, and I'll tell somebody now, like, I need to know that you're going to protect me, like you're going to have my back. Like, my girls aren't my girls, because if I know that we out in public and somebody is acting a fool, like, I don't expect you to fight for me, but I definitely expect you to stand beside me. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially at this old age. But that's that protection I need, and even from males, right? So I think it's very important that we heal that inner child, because that inner child is a part of who we are as adults. If we don't heal that side of us. um
You on the solo layout. I'm sorry. I got you. But yeah, I agree with that 1000%. 1000%. I agree.
let's go up to Ashley at 721, she said, I'm in therapy. I love, pray, and treat my therapist like family. Thank God for therapy. Absolutely. Miss Janice Hanks, I think both partners should always pray for each other at all times. Absolutely. Ashley also said, absolutely, prayer is beneficial to a relationship, partnership, friendship, and marriage. Yes, ma'am. Carla said, communication is key when you're healing your inner child. I have learned to tell what my triggers are in the beginning because sometimes your healed inner child can be triggered. Absolutely. Your grown adult person can be triggered. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you can grow and heal from these things, but learning how to handle the triggers, right? You've got to learn to handle them the correct way. Again, a P for me is men with long fingernails. It's a major turnoff. I do not like it. I don't like it because I had a situation as a child that happened and it's a trigger. I don't want a man with long fingernails. Complete turn off. I cannot take it. But that's one of those things. Like I'll say, hey, you need to cut your nails. You know what I'm saying? And they know, but still those things, those triggers, well, they're gonna always be there. But how you deal with them, how you handle them is what makes it so important. That shows the growth.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that because it shows that you are willing to be mature and have that conversation that is
Mhm.
needed. All right, let's go to number four. Let's
I
go to
think we
number.
kind of answered number 4. Why did you want to go into therapy?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, we
mm-hmm. All
can
right, let's go
ignore
to
them.
five.
Yeah.
How has it helped you? How has therapy helped you?
Um, Apart from being a servant, which is like my desire to help, support, encourage, and motivate others, helping others like discover they are special. I've learned what my triggers are, like being disrespected is a major trigger, like major, major, major. So I have to, if I feel that I'm being disrespected, I have to step back first and say, is this person being disrespectful or are you just taking it that way because you don't like what they're saying, right? So I kind of step back and think before I speak 85, 90% of the time now. Whereas before it was just firecracker, right? And I learned that that came from being picked on, being bullied, and all these other things. And my mom, I never forget, came to the school when I was in middle school and she said, if I have to come back up to the school again to take up for you, I'm going to get you when you get home. So who wants to be got when they get home, right? So I may not have physically fought, which I did have a couple fights, but more than anything, my mouth was what protected me. Like my mouth just started being out of control, right? Even when I got to college, like I had to learn, and I didn't really learn to really filter that until after college, right? I had to learn, especially as I got into leadership roles, how to really properly interact and communicate with people because
Right,
everybody can't take that strong, bold, factual, truth speaking tempest. I can still do those things, but I have to do it according to how people are going to receive me, right? In a professional, respectful way. And so it's helped me in that regards. Because I don't want a voice to hurt, right? You all hear me say that I always want to lead with grace and love. Always want to lead with grace and love. So and help others to discover that, they are special, being special, and helping them to heal their deepest wounds just in a conversation or something that I may post. I learned because I felt disrespected and violated so much as a child and as a teen that being disrespectful, like I said, was that major disrespect was that major thing. Um, I've learned boundaries, right? How to create healthy boundaries with my child, with my parents, with my friends, with other family members. And I speak them. And if I feel like my boundaries are being crossed, I remove myself. I disconnect myself from a phone conversation because this is my life. This is my peace. This is my space, right? Whether head space, physical space. So triggers, boundaries, and I learned that just because I meet a guy and we date with no commitment, that doesn't mean that I owe you anything. I don't owe you anything, right? And just like a sidebar, you hear all these conversations that are coming up about women not wanting to go to the Cheesecake Factory, or they need to have these high expensive dates, or and then there's one woman that was like, why does there even have to be a price on a date, right? Why does it? Why can't we
Right.
just go on a date and enjoy ourselves? Let's get to know each other. I'm more concerned about your mind, your spirit, and your heart than I am how much you paying on this meal. Like, don't get it twisted. I don't want you to take me to crystals, but I definitely would rather go to the park and walk around than, if you can afford a meal. I'm okay with a walk in the park. I'm okay with the simple things. And not every woman is like that, but I don't need you to spend a big sum of money on me in order for me to truly get to know you, right? So simplicity sometimes to me is goes further than any big bulk of money. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, we appreciate it when they do go out of their way, but um, it to me, for me, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, we going Cheesecake Factory is expensive for little people like me. We can go to the Cheesecake Factory because I love cheesecake. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be tore up about that. So I guess those are the ways that it's helped me. It's helped me to learn my triggers. It's helped me to learn healthy boundaries, and it's helped me to be okay with if I don't like this person, or if there's things that's not going right. It's okay for me to disconnect from you. So that's how it's helped me. So, James, have you been to therapy? And if you have not,
Definitely.
is it something that you're willing to go through or do?
Definitely. Definitely.
Go ahead.
I've been, and it
Mm-hmm.
definitely helped. And definitely helped me a lot. And when I went, it was at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
It was right at the right time where everything was going on, and I was able to go in and talk to somebody that was not my family
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and get
Mm-hmm.
another set of ears on things.
Right. Right. Right.
So it's definitely helped me to be more open, to voice more of what I want,
Mm-hmm.
to voice more of what I need. Because like like for me with a woman, I'm not looking for like the whole kit and caboodle,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of men are looking for that woman that is like real beautiful, the girly girl type. I'm looking for that type that can be that. I'm thankful for that type that can be that girly girl type, but she got that like she could put on some jeans and Jordans
Mm-hmm.
and still be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like that's the type of woman that I love.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. What does healing look like to you moving forward?
Healing looks like to me moving forward, not making the same mistakes. Now, before we go any further, yes, you're still gonna make mistakes. But when I say not making the same mistakes, what I mean is if you know that, let's use for example, if you know your woman doesn't like certain things and you keep doing it, that's making the same mistake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, I'm a guy that when I get busy on certain things, I totally lose myself in what I'm getting busy in.
Mm-hmm.
And I fail to do the simple things of
Mm-hmm.
just checking in,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you're good, making sure you got everything you need, making sure you're straight. I fail at that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it gets me in trouble. But what I'm grateful for is the fact that even though I failed to do that,
Mm-hmm.
that deep down, she knows my heart is right, and she
Mhm.
knows that like, yo, I'm still riding with you, even
Mhm.
though life be life, and sometimes, and I'm not always available. I still
Mhm. Mhm. For me, um, healing looks like peace and boundaries, using my voice respectfully, but with intent, and continue leading with grace and love. That those are the things that, excuse me, gives me joy. And James, just to comment on what you were saying, when we can acknowledge and admit, then that's when it starts being uh, becoming more aware for you, right? You're in tune with what you're doing. So when you become in tune with it, then that's when you have to, when you know you need to stop making those
the
mistakes.
same
A
mistakes.
simple text, hey, thinking about you, got this going on. My goal will be to give you a call, text you back in however long, right? So acknowledging and admitting, and then moving forward with that. I mean, we are human, right? But when you know your person desires or needs things, it's important to be in tune with that for sure. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's very important because you don't want your partner to feel like, okay, so what I need don't even matter at this
Mhm.
moment
Mhm.
because they're gonna do what they want to do anyways, and I
Mhm.
don't want them to do that at all.
Right.
Okay, let's look at some of these comments again. I like this.
I've
I've
never
never.
been to therapy, but going to school to become a therapist was my therapy because all my professors made our classrooms a safe place to share. And you know, when you go into certain degrees, they do that. The same experience with me getting my coaching, my last master's, and getting my coaching certification. We had to be coached, right, going through that process. So yes, a safe place, a safe space, and it's great. It's beneficial. It's supportive. It's good. So that is definitely the first test for sure. Therapy has helped me to not ignore the red flags. It has helped to see that putting me first and working on me isn't a bad thing. Also, it has helped me to learn how to put boundaries in the different places in my life, and which is so important. So important.
Okay. It's very important. You got to have those boundaries, but not only do you have to have them, you have to stay and stand beside them. Like that
Hmm.
woman on Steve Wilkos said when she was talking about her man, that's him, and I'm gonna stick beside him,
Oh,
even
that's
though,
my man.
and I'm gonna stick
I
beside
love
him.
him, and I'm gonna stick beside him.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
though he's the sorriest of the sorry,
right,
that's mine, and I'm gonna
right.
stick beside it.
Yeah.
We got to be that same way with our boundaries.
Oh, for
You may
sure.
not like it, but those are my boundaries, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
stick beside them.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question. All right, how do you want? Okay, no. What does healing look like to you?
Oh, we just did that one.
Okay, so how do you want to show up in your next chapter?
For me, God fearing, confident, whole, trusting, open, and loving. That's how I want to show up.
I feel like
What about you?
uh, definitely I want to show up healed.
Hmm.
I want to show up better. I want to show up stable. I want
Hmm.
to show up as God fearing, and I want to show up as the man that God called me to be.
Hmm. Hmm. How can we become better and not bitter?
How can we become better and not bitter? Wow. Mm. We can become better. We can become better and not bitter by letting go, realizing that we all human, that everybody has days, and realizing that none of us are perfect, and realizing that all of us are work in progress.
Hmm. Yep. Not holding grudges, learning to forgive, looking over people's faults and seeing their needs. That doesn't mean that you walk around naive and dumb, but you are being aware and in tune. You can learn to love from a distance, pray, and release.
I agree. 1000% I agree. So I think okay. So let's go into this next thing. There was a post that has been circulating around. We got about 10 minutes. So there's a
Mhm.
post that's been circulating around on social media where this woman was talking about how she is more comfortable dating a white man than she ever was a black man. And she was talking about how white men are better than black men in that extent. So when I saw it, I immediately had to send that to Tevis. So what was going through your mind when you read that?
Uh, that my next goal is a white man if these black men don't get right.
Now come on now. Come on now. No, I refuse. I refuse to let that happen. Nope. Mm-mm,
Oh
mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. I
my god.
will not. I will not let that happen. Nope.
Oh my god. No, but seriously, you know,
Wait, was
there
that the couple from Love
there
Is
are.
Blind? It might have been.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I
There
think it
are.
might have been.
I was with Tevis. I felt loud. That's definitely my next move too. I'm saying. I'm saying.
Wait
Um.
a minute. Wait. Now hold on. Because these white men are the same way as black men are.
They are, and let me
So
say
we
this.
ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do it. No, I'm not. Brothers, don't worry. I got y'all's back. I got y'all's
Uh,
back tonight. I'm not gonna let them come on here and act like this tonight. No.
so look, seriously. So there's clearly variations in family cultures around the world. North American people, and you know, they that it says statistically that they take more of a view of laziness when it comes to family matters, whereas African and Asian and Middle Eastern people, even Latin Americans, embrace a more familyistic view of things. Um, so, like, do Caucasian men value relationship and marriage more than black men? I do not think so. I think it is per person, per family dynamic and experience, like with age. I say this to say that in like college, in a class, I remember a professor saying that white Caucasian families are taught family values and are raised to marry and have children and take care of their families more than other cultures. Like, I'm like, what? Again, per family, per culture, per person. I don't think that we can just label it as just being, Caucasians are more family oriented. Um, I know that like a lot of Caucasian girls growing up, they say, they play house and they're looking for their father and in their husband, and they usually date, marry a man that's similar to their father, and you get in the whole money and wealth, and rich marry rich, not so rich, you get into all of that, but so much can be discussed behind that. To me, again, I say it again, it's per family, per values, per person, per morals, per desires. Um, y'all probably seen the trend on TikTok where it shows like the white man before a black woman, the white man after he's dated
Right,
black
right,
women,
right.
he's got all this swag, right? Um,
Because one thing I will say about my sisters, the black women, y'all definitely gonna upgrade y'all's man.
Well, and that leads to my next point. I'm confident that any man that has a good woman will grow and change and be better in every aspect of his life, inside or out. I believe a
You
woman
said a
can
key
lay that
word. You
foundation,
said a key
or a
word.
woman
A
can
good woman.
dismantle that.
You
And
said the key word, a good woman.
I believe that. Um, do I know because I'm a black woman that we have love and support like no other? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because I am a black woman and I know that. This has been, I have nephews that are biracial. And I've heard, one of them say he only dates Caucasians, and one of them say they date biracial, and the other one says he likes exotic women. And I looked at all of them and I said, who's had y'all's back more? And I said, and why? And y'all loud. Y'all always this, y'all always that. I'm like, this loudness has loved y'all in and out, through
Come
and
on.
through. Who's rocking with you when you in trouble? Who's riding with you on your sick bed? We are. Like, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? So,
I
yeah.
think I
So
think sometimes too, what we look at is Sarah said it best. Y'all are unappreciated.
we are. We are.
And I think because of this, and I said this last night on Conversation with Kings, a lot of men will deal with them evil women. And then the women that we know darn well we don't need to get with, but we get with them because we let our hormones make the decisions. And then after those women tear us down and break us down to the point of no return, we have the nerve or the audacity to want to come to a black woman that is on her own and got her own thing going on and actually ask that black woman to heal us.
Right. Right. And I've said many times, I want a whole man. I want a whole man. I don't want to raise a man, right? Don't get me wrong. We're going to grow with each other. We're going to mature with each other still. We're going to learn each other's likes and dislikes. But come to me whole, right? And, like, complete truth. I have had, over the course of my middle school through probably prior to moving here, I probably had 5 Caucasian guys approach me. They all had their own little swag. And it's so funny because they have all married black women, which I'm not surprised. But there was one who I asked as an adult why he liked black women. And his explanation was flooring, because at that time I had never heard a black man say these things about a black woman. Um, that is my truth. When I heard that white guy say that, I was just like, are you sure you ain't like biracial? Like, what's going on, right? But
But
I've never,
here's the
now, of course, since then, as I've gotten older, I've heard black men say all these wonderful things about black women. But when I heard this white guy say this, it did floor me, because I'm just like, wow. My first thought was like, dang, can a black man say that about me or about us? You know what I'm
here's
saying?
the thing.
That was just a thing.
I heard a comedian. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I love my black men. Love them. They have hurt me, wronged me, left me, talked about me, and disrespected me. But I love my black men. Now, of course, I ain't gonna stick around for the BS, but it has not turned me away from wanting to love and fall in love with a black man. I do desire that. Like, I desire that. Plus my daddy ain't playing about his baby dating outside of the race. But he know at this point, if it's gonna make me happy, we just gonna have to roll with it. But yeah.
Travis, we got about 2 minutes. I say, let's put this in the comments. And if anybody wants to jump up here in these next 2 minutes and kind of talk with us about this a little bit, we're going to let you. Y'all got about 2 minutes, so y'all got 2 minutes before the show ends. So if y'all going to jump up here, y'all better be ready. But here's my thing on it. I heard a comedian say this one time, that a black woman will date a white woman. That, and when he
A
dates
black
a white
woman would
woman,
date a white
a
woman?
black man will date a white woman. And
Oh,
when he dates her, he will get the regular white woman. But when a white man goes for a black woman,
He
he
get
gets
top
the
5.
finest sister that is on the block.
Facts. Facts. Because he ain't feeling inferior or intimidated. He's okay with her strength. James, you froze.
Oh man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay, but yeah, he will get the finest black woman that is on the block, and will definitely love her. Nikki said, "Not true all the time."
And no,
Okay,
it's not true all the
no,
time.
not all the time, not all the
It's,
time.
it's, it's definitely a thing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a thing for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, that there's some truth in that. Oh yeah, for sure, Nikki,
For
for
sure,
sure. For
for
sure.
sure, we will, and then have the nerve to say that there ain't no black woman out there.
Plenty of us.
Yeah, there are, but the problem is the ones that are out here now. You can't run game on them.
Yeah.
A lot of them you can't run game on. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta come with your it's together.
Mm-hmm.
So you all, we appreciate y'all rocking with us tonight. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. And I'm gonna let Tevis close this out with some closing comments. Oh, just right
Here
here.
we
Black
are.
women are tired of y'all. Man.
We are, honey. We still stick around. We still stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
All right. So Tevis, I'm gonna let you do
yes.
yours and I'll do mine.
So healing before the next chapter. I'm hoping that we can have some good topics in September as well. And I want to say more than anything, let's continue to dismantle the stigma around therapy and counseling and coaching. Let's embrace mental health by way of supporting anybody that is experiencing any trauma or mental health issues. Know that it's important to be whole. Know that it's important to heal yourself. Know that it's important to be honest and speak your truth. And as I always say, remember to lead with grace and love and think before you speak. And definitely life will be much easier for you for sure.
Amen. So I think for me, what I would say is remember that, as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we're looking at is bad. God is only turning it around for our good. You all, we appreciate y'all walking with us tonight. We are going to go on break in August. I know that originally we said that we was going to wait until September to go on break. But I'm gonna be honest with you all. I text Sarah and I text Tevis and I told them that a brother needs that break a little bit early. I need it a little bit early because of some things that I have going on, and I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can give you all the best version of Real Talk Monday that you all deserve. And we appreciate you all walking with us. We love you all. We will see y'all again next week. Sarah and I will be on. We have Miss Eubanks coming on tweet for more coming on with us next week. Y'all don't and tweet. We have more coming on with us next week. Y'all don't want to miss that. She is thebomb.com, and I am excited about everything that God is doing with Real Talk Monday. You all, we still voting. So go on over there to musicloveawards.com and vote for Real Talk Monday as your podcast of the year. Y'all run that up. You got till the end of this month to run that up. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try to walk home with that trophy. We appreciate you all, and we will see y'all next week. God bless you all, and heaven continue to smile up on you all.
Alexa, set a reminder.
What's the reminder for? Go vote for Real Talk Monday.
When should I remind you?
Every day at noon.
Okay, I'll remind you every day at noon.